In this part of lecture 13, we will take a look at a couple of commands that do not exist on the live DVD, and we will have to install it. So let's take a quick look. The first one is finger, and the other one is crypt for encryption. First, let's check and see if the command is actually maybe present. Say finger, and you get a error message like this saying it's not installed, and you can install it by typing this command. Well, there's a couple of things you need to do beforehand. So one is this. If you say sudo apt get update, this will make sure that you get the latest versions of all of the repositories, all the information about the repositories. Plus, you want to make sure that you do have a network connection. That's the one thing I forgot to mention. You need a network connection to do this, because what this is doing is execute the apt-get command as the super user, and the apt-get command goes out to the network, fetches Ubuntu repository information, and updates the local information on your computer, on your live DVD in this case. So I'm going to hit this, and this actually takes a while, so let's wait and see. This is the kind of thing you should see if you type in sudo apt-get update. Okay, so while that's running, let's take a look at the finger command. So we looked at this before. This is a command that's described in the book, but it's not on the live DVD. It's used to obtain detailed and informative reports about users who are currently logged on the system. You can also get information about users who are on the system but not currently logged in. By default, the finger command displays information in a multi-column format. Its login shows the name of the login name of the user, name shows the full name if that's available, TTY shows the device number of the user's terminal, the star before the terminal name indicates that sending messages to that terminal is blocked, so we'll take a look at that later. Most of the time we don't send messages anymore. This is something that was from older versions of Unix, that those things were quite popular. Another column shows the elapsed time between elapsed time since the user last typed on the keyboard. So this will give you some idea of whether the user's currently logged in or not. If the elapsed time is small, that means you know that, well, chances are the user typed in a command. Okay. When shows when that user was logged in, and the where column shows the addresses of the user's terminals. Oops. Alright. So here's some sample output. So this is the kind of thing you should be able to see if you were to execute finger. And I'm just going to quickly check and see if our update is done. Okay, good. Looks like our update is done, and all that did was update repository information locally, so that you can run this command, which is sudo apt get install finger. Okay, sometimes it'll ask you, are you really sure you want to install this command? In this case, didn't happen. All it said was the new packages will be installed. And so now you should see a difference when you say finger. Okay, so this is roughly the same kind of description that's in the book. You get their login, name. In this case, the name is set to live session user, TTY information, idle. So these have not been used recently, and so chances are that you won't be able to contact a user using these things. Note also that the star over here means these are blocked from sending messages. Okay, so roughly the same as what's described in the book. If you had users logged into a server, you would see where they were logged in from. If finger is issued with a user's name as an argument, in this case we don't have much to show. It's all the same user. So it's not much information here within a live DVD, but if you were logged into a server, yes, you would get more information. Okay, so if you were to, all we can check is one user. Let's try that. Let's see what information we can get about this one user. On the live DVD, it's just this one. And okay, so there's some information here. Notice the last couple of lines. It says no mail, no plan. Mail is not something that we're going to use, but the plan is something we can actually affect. Do something like this, create a plan for yourself, and it has to be .plan, hidden file, or in your home folder, and you can say something like that. And I'm going to hit Control D to stop that. So if you cat, you get that. You can also create a file called .project and say something about your project. Okay. And Control D that, and now if you were to say finger, you get project information and plan information. We're not going to use mail, and so you won't get mail information, but if we were using mail, you would get some idea of when the user last checked his or her mail. Okay, so there's so you would get some information like this: mail last read at such and such a time. So like we just saw, the .plan, .project files are used by finger to display some information about the user. So these are hidden files in the home directory of the specified person, and if finger is not able to see these files, or if there's no such files, you get no plan. So if those files did exist, and it's not that hard to create, you can try it yourself on a live DVD. Create these .plan, .project files in your home directory. You would get something like this: project and plan. And you can have multiple lines. I only used one line, but you can use any number of lines. Okay, so finger displays the first line of the .project file if it exists in the user's home directory, and the whole contents of the .plan file if it exists in the user's home. So if your .project file has multiple lines, let's just try that. We'll append a few lines. Control D that, and let's cat it out to check. You see 4 lines, and let's try the finger command. And in this case, I guess on the live DVD, we actually do see all 4 lines. So unlike the description in the book, on the live DVD, we don't just get the first line, we get all 4 lines. So the book says we get all lines in .plan and only the first line in .project. But it looks like on the live DVD, oh yeah, so here it says first line of .project, but actually it does display the entire file. And there are quite a few options. We're not going to look at that, but you can try that for yourself. And this is useful when you're on a server and you see various users and you want to get some idea of who those users are. Next thing we'll look at is the crypt command, so I'm going to skip to that. And take a quick look at that. We will go back to some of this material that we're skipping over. Okay, so crypt is used for file encryption, and just executing crypt on a file encrypts that file, makes it unreadable to others. So let's take a look at that. First of all, it's not used very much, and so it's not on your live DVD. So if you try to say crypt, you will get the same message that we got for Finger, saying that you have to install it. If you haven't run sudo apt-get update, run that first and then run this command. So this is all something that will work only if you have a network connection. Okay, get that, and this time around we do get asked, do we want to continue, yes or no? The fact that Y is uppercase means that that's the default, so you can hit enter. So I'm going to hit enter, and since Y is default, it actually does continue with the installation. Should be almost done. Okay, so once you have crypt installed, here's a simple way to use it. This is pretty much what is done in the book too. Let's create a simple file. Alright, that's good enough. Control D that, and all you have to do is crypt original and program. Okay, so turns out it's better on Linux systems to use mcrypt. So I think it's waiting for us to type in secret passcode, but I'm going to skip out of this and use mcrypt. Mcrypt original, forgot my R. Okay, so mcrypt is what you want to use, even though crypt is available. Much better to use mcrypt. I'm going to type in my secret password twice, and now take a look. Let's see original, which I can cat, and if I were to cat the original, which is encrypted, I get that unusable. So, and what I can do now is unencrypt, and I'll take a look at the man page. To unencrypt, we have to use a different option. I'll do that in the next video.